You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part of a giant studio set. All the world's a stage and you're on it.
Jesus Christ, and suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Man's getting rude. Man's getting rude.
It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring, a hairless monkey jumping through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
You can't have a both ways. You can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening and welcome, YouTube, to another edition of Gem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. Oh, where's
You're
that
making
coming
noise, quarters. Shut up.
Stop. Sorry, carry on.
Horns coming through.
It's the usual professional start, and we're back once again with our almost weekly roundup of news and views from across the imaginary plane. I'm your host, Gem, and on our panel this evening, it's all the cool kids from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server. They are Cat Earth, Curved, Kosho, Quartus, hopefully Scott soon, and Lewis. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Scott's off watching Endgame, so I don't think he's going to be here.
I've seen Endgame. Shall I spoil it for everyone right now?
No, I've seen it as well, and my expectations were low, but it wasn't bad.
It was amazing, Lewis.
There were very good parts. We can talk about that off air.
Yeah, it's epic.
I took him for granted, and like last week, didn't bother to let him know in advance or anything, so it's my own fault. We're without his company. Anyway, yes, I should say as well, in a moment of pure narcissism, that in 27 minutes, I'll be 54 years old. So,
oh, really?
Yes. So,
Gem,
please make lots of donations in the super chat that we don't have and will never get. Thank you very much.
Just donate it to Flat Earth Core, guys, so we can get more entertainment.
Okay, let's get on with it, shall we?
Gem doesn't agree with that.
Now, in our modern world of smartphones, chat apps, and information superhighways, one form of communication has remained largely unchanged for nearly 2 centuries. Like most great innovations, this one emanated from here in the green and pleasant land of England, and was most brilliant in its simplicity. I'm talking, of course, about the postal service. Write your letter, attach a stamp, drop it in the postbox, and a day or two later, it arrives at its intended target. What could be simpler? Well, it seems this is just too simple for some people, especially a softard flattard. Let's take a look.
This should be really good.
And I haven't got it ready at all.
Terrible.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's your birthday, fix up.
Turn that. And turn off your phone.
I'm in a federal place where I pay federal taxes to be here, and there's no rule. You might want to go ask your supervisor about that also, because while ago when I turned it off, you can call your cop. You can call them. So can you tell me what's going on with my mail? Can you tell me what's going on with my mail?
So this mail piece is not correctly addressed. This is the manual in
What
which
do you mean it's
we
not correctly
follow.
addressed? Could you help me?
And it requires a zip code
Right.
per our manual. And
Okay.
it requires you to put proper postage on it per our manual.
Right.
So if you want to do that, we can
Who
accept
have you
your
checked
mail
with?
piece.
Who have you checked with?
This is the Postal Domestic Manual.
That's the USPS manual. I want to
And
go by
your
the.
manual is
I want to
no
go by the.
longer qualified. This is the post office.
So there's
manual.
no longer a general post office entity that works here also.
No.
That's here also.
No.
And you know that for a fact.
Yes.
So what
you
you're doing
can
right now?
follow our
So is it because of the information on
No,
here?
it's because
is it
of the way
bigotry?
it's addressed.
Okay, what's wrong with the address?
And because it doesn't have proper postage.
Could you tell me about the address?
You do not have a zip code listed, which is required. And here's the document.
You want to know something really sweet? Everybody's been really, really nice except for you. You came out with a total attitude.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
You came out with a total attitude.
I
Did you know the water? Did you know the Earth is
information
71% water? Did you know that water doesn't bend or curve? It always finds its level. Did you know that you can't find one real picture of Earth from
Sir,
space?
do you want
Did
to
you know
follow
that?
our policy?
No, I'd like to speak to your supervisor.
I am
I'd
the
like to
lead
speak to the
supervisor.
postmaster.
The postmaster is not here right now. This is the postal policy.
Okay.
So I can ask you to follow the policy or now leave.
Okay. Did you know there's no real satellites in space? Do you know the
That
water always
doesn't
finds its
pertain
level?
to any of this.
It does, because when you go in the postal service and you send stuff overseas, you don't go over across a curve.
Doesn't.
Well, the post office is all about travel.
Do you want to leave now, sir?
I'm trying to talk to somebody that can answer questions about when was the statute banned?
I answered the question.
When was it? What date?
I answered the questions. That this is the policy.
Right.
So you can follow the postal policy or
Right.
you can leave.
Okay, I'm still trying to. I can't really see. I have terrible eyes. This right here is like the most faded. All right. Have you talked to your postmaster? Do you know when the sun sets into the water that you can take a telescope and you can pull it back out of the? Okay, I'm just making conversation with you because I pay your salary. You know, the only thing that's ever been to space is your imagination.
Would you like to leave now?
I'm trying to figure. I can't read this. I can't read that. Could you read it to me, please?
No, I can't. I provided it to you.
To go through the United States Postal Service, and not to go through the General Post Office.
And that is no longer any existence.
As of when?
Since the 30s.
Since the 30s?
There's been a law. You would follow the post office policy, which is
can you
this
show me that?
policy.
Can you show?
I'm not required to show you that.
Okay.
I've showed you my documentation
Right.
here, and now I'm asking you to either follow the policy,
But I can't read.
address
I can't
your
read it.
mail piece, or
Sir?
leave.
You want
Right.
to leave?
I'm trying to send mail.
Okay. If they ask you to leave, you need to leave.
Right, but I'm a customer. I'm trying to figure out how to have my conscience.
Not allowed to record.
Okay.
They
And
have
he
paperwork.
refuses
I'm allowed to
turn off
record
his
in a
phone.
federal building.
Do you have an ID on you?
I don't need to show you my ID.
Yeah, you do.
Am I being detained or am I free to leave?
You're being detained.
For what reason am I being detained?
Disturbance here and for trespass.
For causing a disturbance. I've got everything on film.
Okay, we're going to need to see an ID on you. What name is he giving you?
Yeah, I do. It's on his mail piece.
I don't need to give a name. I have a constitutional right. For what?
You need to identify yourself to this officer, right?
Why am I being detained?
We press charges for trespassing. I've asked him to leave several times.
Sir, please don't put your hands on me. So what you need is my ID.
We're going to put you in handcuffs.
So you're taking me to jail?
Identify yourself. Don't play those games with us.
I'm not playing a game. I got a constitutional right. And I haven't done nothing wrong. And if you tell me that I'm being detained, first you have to ask me to leave to be trespassed.
We're asking you to leave.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Happy to identify yourself.
Please quit putting your hands on me.
Hey, relax.
Please quit putting your hands on me.
Relax, hey.
Please quit putting your hands on me. Okay.
Be all right, okay?
There's no reason for y'all to be putting your hands on me.
Relax.
We're detaining you in handcuffs.
For what reason?
Okay.
For what reason? What am I being arrested for?
You're not under arrest right now, okay?
Well, if I'm not under arrest, then I'm free to leave.
Relax, we're going to explain
If
what's
I'm
going
not being
on.
detained, I'm free to leave. Ma'am, this is your fault. This is all because you won't give customer service. Okay?
I'll get all your stuff.
All right? You got this cuff on me so tight with my wrist turned around the wrong way. Pull my hands away. Why is it always a little?
Is your name Bill?
No, my name's not Bill.
Okay.
I don't answer questions.
Okay. I'm just trying to talk to you.
31, can you sit in?
You work for me. I don't answer questions.
Do you know why? Do you understand why we're here?
Do you know that the more I'm in cuffs right now, the more you can be in trouble? You know you're about to be a grocery store?
Yeah, okay. Do you know why we're here?
Why?
Because you were in there trying to mail mail that they can't mail it.
And then she brought me out that piece of paper and I told her I couldn't see it. And I was trying to get her to explain to me why I couldn't.
Safari 3409 3409 at 1246.
What's that?
Which piece of paper?
That piece of paper right there.
This one?
See that faded out thing in there in the dark? You really can't see it.
Okay, she told you you
She
couldn't
was
use
trying to tell me
it.
that that's the UPS. That is that's the United Postal Service.
Okay.
And I'm trying to use the General Post Office,
Okay.
which if I don't put the zip code and abbreviate the state, then I should be able to post anything, mail anything within a half an ounce for 2 cents. It's my constitutional right. And instead of her being mean and talk to me nicely, she calls y'all and y'all come in here and creep up behind me and throw cuffs on me?
We're trying to figure out what's going on.
And then you tell me you're going to throw me in a car?
What's that?
Do you have any more of your property?
No, but you're going through my mail right now.
I'm not going through your
You're
mail.
sitting there reading my mail. You just got through reading my mail. Did you know that? Did you know that the Earth is 71% water? Did you know that water always finds its level when not manipulated? Did you know the Earth is flat?
Hey,
did you know that?
Go look him up on the iLeads and I'll hold it.
Please get your hands off of me.
I can't because you keep moving around.
Did you know the only thing that's 71% Did you know that the Earth is 71% water? And water doesn't curve. Do you know right now if you can pull up a real picture of Earth, I'll give you $500. A real picture of Earth in space. It actually doesn't say the CGI. A real picture of a satellite will give you $500. You know when I walk to the top of a mountain and I get to the top, I turn all the way around with my camera to show everybody what it all looks like. Don't tackle me. I'm just like. Did you know about that? Did you know that over 50 years NASA's never done that? Did you know that NASA, if you turn that snake tongue into a T, the only other word you can spell with it is SATAN? Why should I identify myself?
You are under arrest for disorderly conduct. Okay, now you are required to identify yourself. Are you refusing to identify yourself?
No, I'll identify myself if I'm under arrest. So you're just now arresting me because I wouldn't identify myself.
So, Officer David, you have the authority to arrest you. We're going to ask you to sit in the car.
Sir, I just had hip surgery. I can't. I'm 6'5". I'm not going to bend down like that. Am I going to jail?
Able to sit in sideways. It's a lot more comfortable.
Am I going to jail?
Yes. You're going to jail. You're under arrest for disorderly conduct, trespassing, and failure to identify yourself.
Oh my God.
Wow,
epic.
that guy
I'm full of emotions.
thinking the Earth is flat is the least of his problems.
Right, yeah. I have to say, he came across as a bit more kind of mentally ill than he did when I was editing it.
You've seen
Where
these
did you
videos
get the
though,
body
right?
cam footage from?
I've not seen that guy before. No, is he a regular flatty?
No, I didn't mean that guy specifically, but those like sovereign citizen videos where they're
Right, yeah,
you know,
I've seen that before. Yeah, lots of those. Yeah.
I don't understand that. It's like I understand the I guess their purpose because like they think they're sovereign, but it's like most times when they're doing that, it's like the cops are not really pulling them over for anything. Like he's at the post office.
Right.
It's like, dude, just you know what I mean? Like don't go to jail for being at the post office, man.
Well, I did have to look into this a bit because what he was doing was he's trying to post a letter using the General Post Office, okay, and the General Post Office is it's like some sovereign citizen entity that they've set up themselves, and they're going on some like 1776 decree that says you can post a letter anywhere for 2 cents or something. I think that's basically what it is. I've actually put that. You might find this interesting, Lewis. I put the links they're in the bottom of the description, or the bottom of the links list in the description, and because they've got all this weird stuff going on where you can basically revoke your citizenship of the United States of America with a little t for the, and become a citizen of the United States of America with a capital T on the. So, and then this whole General Post Office is part of that thing. So, yeah.
So this is not a government-run thing.
No. If you
like
go to the
such a
website, it
scam.
says it is. It says it's part of the government of the United States of America, but that's the with the capital T. It's like their own thing that they've set up, and they've got a Postmaster General who was elected, and then he was impeached, and now they've got the old Postmaster General is back in charge, and it's all very complicated. But he's obviously been taken in by all of this, and was trying to exercise his right to post a letter for 2 cents.
Isn't that what she said? Ended in the 30s, though.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't think she was right about that. I'm not.
Still funny though.
Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? I had to put that in there. But I think it was something. I think there was something that was set up in 1776 as part of the part of the original, what would it have been, the Constitution, I guess. And,
Yeah.
and I think the first president was also the Postmaster General. So they've sort of gone with that idea. Anyway, if anyone wants to have a look, the links are in the description right down at the bottom there.
Well, I'm a bit curious as to where it came from, because that was a combination of his phone footage and body cam footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Where did the body cam come from?
I was mystified by that, and I don't think it was from his channel. I think it was a channel of stuff like that. So.
Well, he must have given his footage out, and then someone else got the body cam footage, because you can ask for it.
Right.
And
Well, one thing, I know his attorney would have been privy to that, so I don't know if he gets to keep it, but I know that he's privy to it, to look it over before his case.
Yeah, you get to keep it. It's public.
I thought it was good, actually, because I've seen a lot of these sort of videos where the cops really behave really badly, and these guys were just so laid back, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
They were just so relaxed. I mean, nothing fazed them. They just weren't bothered. It was. I thought they were really good.
It's just a normal day for them. They're probably not listening, are they?
Right. But you just know. I mean, they must just know. The police now, when they hear the words "I'm being detained," they must just know. Oh God, here we go. Another
But
YouTuber.
you know what always finds its level.
Well, it is important language, though. I mean, because they can try and hold you,
right?
And you're not doing anything, just asking you questions,
right?
But if you're not being detained, then you're technically not obligated to, follow their orders.
Yeah.
Well, they made it clear
When they're
it was
putting
being
the cuffs on you, you're being detained, I think.
Yeah, when there's a cop standing on every side of you, and you say, "Am I being detained?" and they say yes, guess what? You're being detained.
Yeah, I mean that was I like that bit actually where he said, "Am I being detained?" and straight away the cop went, "Yes, you're being detained." but you're right, Kosho. I have seen this. I have seen this abused. This stop and search and things like that. I have seen it abused, and it is. I mean, it's terrible the way they behave sometimes. I mean, just awful. People, cops grabbing at cameras and threatening to arrest people if they don't give them their name straight away. And I'm talking about UK cops here as well. Actually,
Yeah, have you ever seen
that
one with the chick on the bicycle who's literally harassing? She's a police officer on a bicycle harassing a guy, and he's just trying to walk home. There's literally nothing to it. It's just horrible. You see whole channels of these. Yeah, English cops are worse, I think, because they're I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
I like how he tried to slide out. He thought he was going to make a break for it there, and even after being told he was detained, he's like, "Okay, well, I'm leaving." And he tried to slide between them, and they grabbed him. Slick.
It seemed like, I don't think this was their first encounter. I think that seemed obvious, didn't it, from what she was saying? So I think her patience, she had already had no patience. So all it took was for him to say, "All right, call the cops then." And she went and called, or got someone to call them, I think, right at the beginning there, because it wasn't long, was it, before they turned up. The original, obviously, is quite a lot longer than that. I mean, I hacked quite a bit out to get it, watchable.
I have a feeling that her reference to the 30s was the last time postage was 2 cents.
Right. That would make more sense, yeah.
Yeah, that's all this for like a couple pennies, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you wake up and go to the post office and, I don't see how he could have seen any other outcome. If
he's just being antagonistic.
Yeah,
isn't he?
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, for instance, I watch a channel called Crime Bodge that exposes some of this, bad policing. But he says, he sees some of these videos, and he actually featured one, and he said, this seems like one of those videos where the guy has no reason to be filming whatsoever. He's just gone around the back of a police station and filmed cops coming out, and then when cops come up to him and ask him what he's doing, he gets all, I don't have to tell you, and all this sort of thing. So it's sort of deliberately antagonistic and for no real reason. And I think, and he said, that's a line that you shouldn't be crossing. If you're going to go and film, have a reason to be there, not just, I'm going to try and wind some cops up so I can stick them on YouTube, because that's just being a pain in the arse, isn't it? You know what I mean? Okay, you've got the right to do it, but, part of the responsibility, I think, of having rights is, you know, knowing when not to exercise them, you know, right? And, you know, videoing the back, you know, cops coming in and out of the back of a police station is just, that's just being a pain in the arse, in my opinion.
You could be trying to attack them. You could be trying to film them. Do you know what I mean? You don't-
Right, well,
you know.
that's how they see it, of course, every time, and you can't sort of blame them for that. But then, of course, they always come out with this "in the current climate" line, and you just think, oh God, you know, because you know they shouldn't be saying that, you know. Okay.
No, they should be beating his ass.
I'm going to arbitrarily change your rights as a citizen because, you know, 9/11 or something. You know. It's, you know what I mean. That's taking the piss.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Here's a fun fact.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I noticed something. I was looking up the Postmaster General. It says he's the second highest paid U.S. government official other than the president. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that. He's got a hell of a responsibility.
All those hoodlums out there.
Any final thoughts on this, anyone?
The only thing that he wasn't in the wrong about was, like, I mean, I don't believe that he couldn't read that. I think he could absolutely read that, but it's questionable that, you know, maybe she could have read it to him. But that she was already going above and beyond anything that was required of her in that situation.
Lewis, she already called the cops. She wasn't going to sit there reading code until they showed up.
Right, yeah, no, I gotcha.
She was done with him. So at this point, it was, you know, she was giving him an option to get out before the cops got there, frankly, and he didn't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he deserved it. He went down to be a bellend. Sorry, he just went down to be annoying, and he got nicked. And he should spend some time in jail to think about.
Well, he's going to spend a lot more than 30 cents. Yeah, right? No, but that dude was a big, imposing dude, too. It's like, he doesn't look like the kind of guy that's going to be complaining like a little girl and then crying about his hip surgery when he's getting arrested. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like he could be intimidating people.
Anyway, shall we move on? We've got a great, big, massive clip coming next, I'm afraid. It's about, I don't know, 16 minutes long or something. Which is a bit...
buckle up.
I know. I'm sorry to do this to you, but I had to do that to do it justice. And I was hacking through it for hours and hours this afternoon, and this was really as short as I could get it and tell the story, I think.
Let's see it then. Let's cut to the chase.
Yes.
Yeah. Stop wasting time.
Hold on. It's a flat earth first, this one. The flatties have won a debate. Take a look.
Can we agree, all of us, that if he does not get the fuck on here in the next 5 minutes, that he concedes?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there should be a time limit on it.
All right. So we got a 5 minute warning, and if he doesn't provide some information and get on here, then I will own him. He concedes this debate because I know that if this is a gunfight, that he is showing up with a spoon. And I didn't want to leave him at a complete disadvantage. That's not fair.
Yeah, fair, formal, neutral debate with neutral moderators.
So let's begin. Would you like to give us the rules, Maeve?
It's
Yes,
Nathan
I would.
Thompson, by the way, I should say.
Well, number one, questions must be direct during the inter-panel discussion. Number two, no speaking over one another. Number three, the moderator will maintain access to the Webster Merriam Dictionary and Encyclopedia Britannica through the course of the debate. Made-up and or pseudoscientific terminology is not permitted and will result in point deduction. Number four, the debate is strictly one-on-one. No additional participants are permitted to join at any time. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
That is clear.
Nathan?
Okay. I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, begin.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nathan Thompson. I run the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion on Facebook, 120,000 members. I've been a globe earther for 30 years, a flat earther for approximately 3.5 years. My claim is that modern science and astronomy has been hijacked. People claiming to be scientists are not practicing the scientific method. So basically, my claims are the flat Earth is true because we can see too far. I've done my own observations on the Salton Sea. We did it with a laser, 17 miles, 3 feet off the ground. there is no curvature measurable on the Salton Sea. And the vacuum of space is not a real medium. You can't have gas pressure without a container. A container is the necessary antecedent for gas pressure. So with that, I'll yield my time to the moderator. Thank you very much.
Crystal, would you like to start your opening remarks right
Sure
now?
thing. So.
All right, here we go.
That word salad was definitely a lot to take in. The Earth is round. We have known this for a very long time now. It's irrefutable. This is not a phenomenon of nature. You can easily observe for yourself how the Earth is round without any infrared lasers or scientific equations, although that has made it so that it is irrefutably proven. You can put two sticks at an equidistance from each other in the same position and observe how the shadows are at different lengths. That's because we are looking at the curvature of the Earth. If you watch a ship go over the horizon, you'll watch it sink below the curvature of the Earth as it fades into the distance. It's not a matter of perspective. It's also the curvature of the Earth. And there is absolutely no plausible or concrete reason why there would be such a massive conspiracy to lie about the shape of the Earth. This is a delusion that Nathan and his flat Earth associates hold on to. I believe it's a apparent form of mental illness. We will not be able to change Nathan's mind, and I do understand that because he is holding fast to this delusion due to his diseased brain, as well as a crippling feeling of inadequacy and a feeling of grandeur that he needs to overcompensate for. And with that, I'll give my time. I don't need the full 5 minutes.
Okie dokie. I did have to deduct 1 point for a personal attack.
Yeah, I figured that was coming.
Okay, shall we move on to the interpanel discussion?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
Nathan, can you explain gravity?
Yes, can you prove gravity?
I can. I'm going to pick something up right now, and I'm going to drop it because it was attracted to the Earth's central mass.
Okay, well, the simple explanation for that is if you picked up a helium balloon and dropped it, it would not fall towards the Earth. So you have no proof everything is attracted to Earth. You simply drop denser things than the medium of the air, and they fall, and less dense things rise. So there is no scientific proof of gravity, and I don't know if you understand the scientific method, but let me go over it real quick for you. It's observation, hypothesis, experiment, and then we have a theory. So we'll follow those steps of the scientific method, and I'll give you one more opportunity to prove gravity. So starting with a natural observation, then we'll move to a hypothesis, which is linking a cause and effect relationship, and then you'll show me your experimentation. Ready, go.
You don't understand the way that gravity works. Density does not work without gravity. The reason that when you release a helium balloon into the air that it rises as opposed to being drawn back to the center of the Earth is because it is less dense than oxygen.
Less dense. That's exactly my argument. And so your scientific
proof
it's not
for
exactly
the second
time
argument.
of gravity,
What you're doing, and please don't speak over me.
We have to pause for talking over one another.
What you are doing is you are selectively picking out laws of mass because gravity and density are relative to each other, right? So density does not exist without gravity.
Could you tell me the hypothesis for gravity linking the cause and effect relationship followed by rigorous experimentation? Ready, go.
Are you kidding? Universal gravitation. Every particle attracts every other particle in the universe with a force that's directly proportional. I mean, that's quite simple.
Are you just going to repeat to me with broken record syndrome what you said before? I'm looking for a hypothesis followed by experimentation, linking a cause and effect. In talking over me, moderator, can we get a point deduction there, please?
And one for pseudoscience.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so far, you've given me no scientific proof of gravity. You just dropped something and made an observation and declaration.
Proof.
Yeah, you're deflecting.
You're deflecting, and that's a point deduction.
I'm not deflecting. I asked for scientific proof of gravity. You had some opening argument that haven't even been addressed.
Right. So
Crystal provided that scientific evidence.
Right. And what you're talking about, hold on, please don't speak over me. what you're talking about when you reference Einsteinian gravity, which is that's pseudoscientific in itself. I would assume anyway, is the theory of general relativity. Yeah, this is where this is taking me. So it has, superseded, superseded, but Newton's law was the basis for that, and obviously it's been rigor. I mean, dear God. And can we just go back to what we're talking about? Broken record syndrome. Can you tell me where that is in the DSM?
Okay, so I asked you for scientific proof that mass attracts mass, and you dropped something, and the moderator is claiming that's science. Now, in order for this to be science, that's an observation. Now we need a cause and effect relationship, a hypothesis, followed by rigorous experimentation. Now, if you're going to just observe and declare, that's a fallacy called affirming the consequent, where if P, then Q, P happens, so Q. If things fall, gravity. If things fall, so gravity. That is not science. That's not following the scientific method. You haven't scientifically proven anything.
She did provide several instances of actual science.
Right. I'm not going to rehash. I'm not going to rehash pre-established theories and replace it with your bullshit. Now, can you please answer my question? Where is broken record syndrome in the DSM? Nathan, listen. The proof of gravity is simply the demonstration that the phenomenon exists. I don't know what else you're looking for, but you're using the word proof, which is not a scientific term. If you were speaking in scientific terms, as you are so insisting upon, you would use the word evidence, right? Because science does not assume that it's right. It seeks for the truth. You don't seek any sort of refutation to any of your theories. You seek affirmation. Therefore, you are inherently unscientific. So let's just put that on the table right now.
Simply affirming the consequent with shadows in the ground, sticks in the ground, which Neil Tyson admits works on both models.
It does not. He does not admit that. That is patently untrue. That is patently untrue.
I have the video. Let me pull it up.
So when you are going through the scientific method, you are not trying to prove something. You are trying to disprove it until you can no longer. You cannot disprove gravity. Simply the fact that I can pick up my wallet and I'm going to drop it again and it's going to fall to the floor. I am now observing the phenomenon in action. That is it's not a disputable fact. But I understand that it is for you because you're delusional.
Oh, are we deducting for insults?
No, I mean that in a clinical sense. That's not an insult.
Let us moderate the debate. You just worry about debating, please.
Yeah.
I
mean that in the most clinical sense possible, Nathan.
Well, since I'm delusional, let me show you the proof that Neil Tyson says your very first opening argument, which is putting sticks in the ground thousands of years ago, an observation you haven't done when I led with all my personal observations, personal experiments. You're talking about stuff that dead people did thousands of years ago. Let me show you why Neil deGrasse Tyson himself, world-renowned astrophysicist, did in fact say it works on both models.
We use this observation to see if Earth's surface is curved. We needed another well. Turns out we can't see the bottom of both wells at the same time. What are the two possible explanations? We have a flat Earth with a sun that's small and close by, so that light hits the second well.
We could have a flat Earth where the sun is small and localized. Thank you very much.
No, you just cut off what he was saying. That proves nothing. Well, I mean, you didn't even use the same, clearly talking about wells, right? And it proves nothing. He is talking about, like, do you trust what Neil deGrasse Tyson says now? Do you trust his research? Because he believes that the Earth is round and that you are insane.
So can we get back to the shape of the Earth now that we know Neil Tyson says that experiment works on both models? So far, your opening argument has no proof of curvature.
I understand that to you believe that, but that's because you have apparent mental illness causing you to be so staunchly ingrained in this delusion that it is to the detriment of your own life, clearly, and you cannot be shaken. Right, so I'm willing if you can offer some sort of evidence.
Interject something here, real quick, something on the scientific end of things. If the sun wasn't far away, explain to me how lunar eclipses happen, which is the Earth positioning itself.
I will second that.
explain the mode of the sun, rather.
I will second that question.
All right, are we opening up the panel for discussions from the audience now?
I was, you know what? No, you're right, guys. You gotta wait. I'm sorry. Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, because I can easily explain lunar eclipses.
No, listen.
Are we not supposed to question things that are completely not factual?
No, it's okay. You let him go. Let him go. You guys have to stay neutral. You have to stay neutral. You have to stay neutral. So we'll wait till we can open up the panel. Right now, I'm sure that we're getting towards the end of our time limit, and Nathan is going to dance around in circles. Yeah, he's going to dance around in circles. Nathan, I understand that you come from a broken home. I understand that you have really wanted the approval of your parents for a long time, and on many occasions have failed to do so. I understand that you've lost jobs over this. I understand that you're homeless. You still cling to this delusion. How can we help you?
Listen, I don't need help. I was looking for scientific evidence.
Right, but you're not following.
Hey, please don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you while you were speaking. So you want to turn this into just an ad hominem attack or some sort of mental deranged lunacy. But the thing is I've done the observations. I've done and you're just here saying, oh, thousands of years ago, they affirmed the consequent when world-renowned astrophysicist says that works on both models. So the fact you bring that to the table in a scientific discussion shows you have not done any research. You have no firsthand proof of anything. Now, what is your best proof the Earth rotates?
We can look at the seasons. We can look at the daylight, right? Because right now, across the world, it's light, right? So 24 hours in a day, we're rotating. That would be the daylight, right? That's the day. That's the cycle. That is, easily, my child could tell you that.
Okay, so because time changes and the sun moves around in the sky, you're going to claim
the sun does not move around in the sky.
You're going to interrupt me again before I finish my sentence.
Wow. You are just absolutely spewing out utter bullshit, Nathan. This is concerning. This is to the detriment of your own life. And I do understand, because this is apparent mental illness. You are sticking to this delusion. Nothing that I say, nothing that science says, nothing that the rest of the world says is going to change your mind. You have absolutely no flexibility in your thinking. It's called black and white thinking. That is a clinical term, and it's indicative of serious mental illness. The fact that you are clinging to these fringe beliefs, even as you continue to lose things in your life or put yourself at a disadvantage, is just further proof that there's apparent mental illness here, right? Because these are laws of nature that are very well established. We have not been able to disprove them. Your theories are easily disprovable. You're making them up on the fly. But yet you are still going to continue. So why do you need to stick to this delusion? What is it feeding for your ego that you cannot do on your own?
Okay, well, I asked you for proof Earth rotates, and you said seasons and daylight. Now, that's easily explained by the southern declination of the sun.
Nathan, what mental illnesses have you been diagnosed with by a doctor? I can't argue the scientific stuff with you. I can't, because you are so off base that we would be here all night. From start to finish, from your gravity theory, by your theory, I'm heavier than the sofa that I'm sitting on right now, right? Why am I not underneath the sofa?
Well, because the sofa is a solid. Solids don't fall through solids.
I'm not solid.
So all atoms are dipoles. Like, to assume that you would fall through your couch because you're denser just shows you're right. You can't argue anything scientifically with me because you're not on my level.
I'm not. I'm not delusional, Nathan. I don't.
Go with the insults.
That's not an insult. I mean that very.
I don't know you. I don't do research on your life. I don't care what companies fired you or hired you because you're a globe head. I don't care who your friends are, what your family thinks about you. I was here to talk about science.
Right, and I'm talking about the science of your brain. I'm talking about the science of your brain, Nathan, because this is to the detriment of your life.
I told you.
Oh,
I've gone and tested it. Have you done any tests on curvature or Earth's rotation?
I observe the natural world, right, which is absolute evidence of the phenomenon within itself.
Well, I really don't understand how he won that. I mean, she wasn't that great, and
I wouldn't call either side a winner in that.
Yeah.
Nathan presented nothing to support his case. He behaved poorly. She was out of her depth with some of it.
I think
the whole thing was just a shit show, but I wouldn't call it.
Well,
Nathan
maybe I've been unfair in the editing because he presents his own observations, and she is really left flailing.
Okay.
I did include her only good point, which I thought, which was where she actually said to him, about scientific proof. And I think if she'd gone there at the start, she would have fared a lot better. But I think and this is, I guess, is the reason the clip is so long, because I think there were two stories to tell there. Is one that how badly prepared that she was for it, and how she just kept doing this psychology thing. And two, that he's adopted the standard QE Nathan Oakley argument, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was about to mention that it's this drawing a chalk outline on the ground and insisting you lie down in it, right? Like, science is this, so now give me these 4 things, go. It's like
right. No. And he didn't even get that right, did he? Because he said that first you have the hypothesis, and then and that's how you get a theory.
He worked it through from observation to theory somehow, as though that's how the process would go. Even in that context. Yeah, it was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he did assert a lot of nonsense, but she just did. She'd got her 2 sticks in the ground, and of course, he came back with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and she just kept insisting that he was wrong when he was right about that one.
Right. Well, that's why if you're going to debate, you're going to use evidence. You should know what you're bringing, because I think that she might have. She said that both those 2 things at the beginning, the ships disappearing from bottom up, and then the 2 sticks in the ground equidistant from one another. I don't know what that meant, but if you understood, if you understood that test, and if you've seen the quote of Neil deGrasse Tyson, it's an easily thing to combat. You just say, hey, no, read the next sentence or listen to the next sentence. He says it works if you use 3 or more. It doesn't work on a flat plane.
Yeah,
but
she did mention that. She said he took it out of context and didn't go on to the next piece. But.
Right, and she focused like way too much on, and I think that was probably because that's all she had. But she's like focusing on him as a person and his psychology and stuff like that. And that's like a big mistake.
I think that's what she does. I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure I heard someone say.
It's like me that she's a psych student. Yeah, that's what I felt like she was.
Right. So I think I guess I don't know. That was what I mean. She said she had looked into him and stuff. So. I think, she'd set out to research this. She typed in flat Earth, debunking or whatever. Took that top NASA video with that woman on it, because she does the 2 sticks and the ships going over the horizon, and then went off to his Facebook account to find out what a lowlife he was, and I don't know. That seemed to be her approach. So I thought that's because I thought as well. It seemed like. She'd obviously learnt the science at some point quite well, but some years ago, she was able to pull up the universal law of gravitation straight away, and she didn't get it all. She got the first half of it, kind of thing, but she'd obviously learnt it at some point. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't something she'd learnt that afternoon, I thought.
Yeah. Well, I would say the first mistake is bothering to talk to Nathan. But
yeah,
if you're going to, you need to have prepared yourself for the rhetoric and bullying that you get from these twerps.
Right, because they did have all these rules and the points deductions and all this sort of thing. But it did occur to me that the one thing they didn't have, and maybe I wouldn't have thought of, was they probably needed to limit the amount of points that could be made in some way. You bring 3 points and I'll bring 3 points, because he's just here with this. Oh, we went here, we did this observation, we did that observation, and then I went to Korea and I did another observation, and then I went to Lake Pontchartrain, and then there's this long distance photograph, and he just reels off all this pile of stuff, and she just doesn't know what to do,
No, and you notice Nathan was changing the subject whenever it was uncomfortable for him. So.
Right. I mean, he hammered on about this science, this science thing, though. That just went on and on and on and on, because it's about an hour and a half debate. I should say, and I know someone was asking, it's Turtle Boy Sports is the channel that it was on. So, Turtle Boy Sports. I didn't put it in the in the description because I forgot, but I will. I'll stick it in for later on, so that if you're not watching this live, it should be in the description.
Did the judges reveal their scorecards?
No, and she avoided that as well. She said, I think it's obvious or something like that, and she did it a couple of times as well. I think she probably wasn't that confident in how it might have tallied up, but I think the judges were very much on her side anyway, so I don't think they would have had her as a loser at all. But she did by their rules, she interrupted him multiple times. She made multiple personal attacks. I mean, you heard it right at the start. She goes, "Oh, I'm going to have to deduct 1 point for a personal attack," when she's like, just levied 5 insults at him, one after another. So I don't know, but I thought it was interesting because it did. She doesn't look good in it. She really doesn't. Not
if I were on her team in the debate, I would have ended up flat smacking her.
Yeah, I guess she'll live and learn, won't she?
Or maybe not. Maybe she won't.
Yeah, well, she saw it as a win, I think. As I say, so I don't know.
Hey, what about the female mod? Did anybody recognize that voice?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Somebody asked her if she was drunk, and it did seem that way. She didn't seem to be able to. She got what did she got? The Webster Merriam Dictionary and the Encyclopedia Britannica or something like that. She just totally chewed all the words up, didn't she? So. Anyway, okay, we'll shoot across to the other side of the world now. Flat Earth NZ has happened. And there's just a tiny little clip here, so let's watch. He said, hang on. There.
Biggest names in the Flat Earth movement have travelled across the Earth to challenge what we've been taught about the universe, namely attempting to demonstrate that the round Earth theory is an elaborate hoax. Lucy Warhurst went along to their conference in Auckland.
The Netflix documentary Behind the Curve has prompted a global spike in interest in the Flat Earth movement. The sky is the limit, probably literally.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Star of the documentary, Mark Sargent, says there are millions of flat earthers around the world just like him.
90% of our membership, though, is in the closet. I kind of treat it like the old movie The Fight Club, which was the first rule of Flat Club is you do not talk about Flat Club. But it is very true. I mean, you have to choose your audience wisely.
This is a safe audience. He's flown in from the US to attend the Flat Earth Expo in Auckland. People here believe we do not live on a globe.
You don't feel like you're spinning 1,600 k's an hour, do you?
Flat earthers think the world looks like this, and the sun moves in circles around the North Pole to create day and night. But Robbie Davidson says they're dogged by laughable misconceptions.
No one believes that we can fall over the edge, and we're not a pancake flying in space.
He says that would be ridiculous. So what do they believe?
One of the main models is that we're a flat stationary Earth with a dome over top, and that the sun, moon, and stars and everything we see in the sky is contained inside.
At the core of their belief is quite simply that the world looks flat.
Things that go off into the distance like a boat, eventually you should not be able to see them. They should be behind the curve, so they're on the other side of the hill. Well, with long distance photography, especially with HD, we can now see those things.
And when it comes to pictures from space, well, they believe NASA and other agencies are involved in a conspiracy that they've never even explored space. In a world of differing opinions, one thing's true, they flat out deny the Earth is round. Lucy Warhurst, News Hub.
Well, okay.
Yeah, same old, really, isn't it, that?
Yeah.
There didn't look to be very many people there. You did get one sort of shot there. I guess there looked maybe 40, 50 people.
That many? Wow, in New Zealand.
I know. Our prediction was, Dave, exceeded it by magnitudes, Quarters.
Oh, I predicted 4, so 40 is the big number.
Yeah.
Did you hear David yesterday? He said that 18,000 people were going to be at the Dallas one.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did say that. So there's not really a lot we can say about that, is there? I just sort of threw it in there at the last minute.
I'm assuming you weren't. Oh, sorry, Curved.
I was just going to ask, did they comment on the South Celestial Pole?
Well, there hasn't been a live stream or anything of it, so all I've seen so far is this one news report. This is from Robbie Davidson's channel, Celebrate Truth, and he's obviously filmed this off the TV in the hotel room kind of thing. So I even went to their website, couldn't find it on the website, so I went with Robbie Davidson's telly. But yeah, there's not a lot about it. The live stream, I think, would have been good, because as I was saying last week, there was quite a lot of stuff in there, it might have been interesting to watch. Quarters thinks I'm mental, but
I would have watched it, yeah.
It's
just to see who was there, what they were doing.
Yeah, it's just voyeuristic, I guess, isn't it? Is Catz,
exactly.
Is Catz still with us, or did he die? Is he passed out?
He's getting drunk.
Hey, have you looked more into the Amsterdam one? Because isn't there like a debate and there's like seats that Nathan Oakley's, he's looking for people to debate against?
Yeah, I applied, to be on it.
Hmm.
And they said they wanted PhDs.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God.
And then they said I could be first reserve.
Oh.
And
you might make it.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, I won't. Because at the same time as they said I could be first reserve, they also asked me for my thoughts on it. And I gave them my thoughts on it. So now I won't be in it.
Did they tell you that you won't be in it? Straight
No,
up?
they haven't said that, but I won't be, because I just said I think you're borrowing credibility that you don't respect. You say you're only prepared to debate PhDs. None of you have got a PhD, and you think that people with PhDs are indoctrinated and brainwashed. So why insist only on people with PhDs? And I said, this is a trick. You do it because you know that they're unlikely to know all of your arguments, and you don't want to debate someone who does. So, also their debate is heliocentrism versus geocentrism, which, for a Flat Earth conference, I pointed out it's pretty pathetic that not one of them is prepared to argue for a Flat Earth. Which,
wow.
In front of a Flat Earth audience. I think that's a bit of a, it's a cop-out. It's
slightly clever, though. It's going to make them seem more credible, though.
Right.
Because they're going to take the angle, well, we're the center of the universe, and you don't think we are.
Right. And it's an avoidance of the burden of proof, isn't it, of it being flat. It's to be able to, stick the argument into, dark matter and, the edges of our knowledge, so they can say, ha, you don't know that, so you don't know anything. That's the route they'll take, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, that argument could be easier even if it's framed correctly, because obviously what Lewis was saying, like if they're just claiming the Earth is the center of the universe, and that's what we mean by geocentric, then technically that's not wrong, but at the same time that's not what it means. It means like, whether we're orbiting the sun, like that, that's what heliocentric is. If everything's orbiting the sun, and the sun's orbiting something else. So as long as you frame it correctly, and then you give the evidence, you can win that one easily too.
Right. It's I think it's not very intellectually honest to their position, really.
Well, they want to be able to say, look, we have this crazy idea, but look at these learned people who have come to address us. Therefore, we must be their level, right?
Yeah.
It's an attempt to elevate themselves.
Yeah,
That's it.
we debate PhDs. I mean, I heard Roxanne Glenn doing it today. Apparently, someone at Oxford has debated them.
Right.
And they're claiming it as a win. They're saying they said we won.
Of course, and it makes them seem more credible in the eyes of people who already distrust the system and feel on the fringe themselves. So and also don't know any better. So it is, like you said, it's just a tactic to try and take advantage of gullible people. Right. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily doing it consciously, but that is the effect of it, and I think that's how a lot of them themselves fell into it, and that's why they continue to take the route.
I think that they're correct, Lewis and Cordis. I think that's true. That's definitely one of their tactics. But I think also they know the difference between arguing against somebody who's argued against them already, and they've seen the examples of people who are professionals or astrophysics or whatever, and then they kind of are mumbling over their the debate because they haven't heard these questions before. Kind of like that girl was doing, but she was doing a worse job. But you see what I'm saying? Like they want people who aren't used to this argument.
Right, and that's how I think it works with the street activism. That's where they sort of get off on it, is because you can always drop some piece of flat earthism on somebody, some innocent passerby, and they just take it at face value. They don't know, oh, I should be able to see this, they don't know how to respond to that, and they just take it, oh, interesting, and of course the flatty gets a win, Anyway, I should say hello to our chat, shouldn't I? Because I've forgotten so far. So, good evening to Jim Bojo and Captain Bullshit. Shout out to Shroomy, of course. Hello to Netty Voyager, Vinny TV. Good evening to you. Gosh, I'm tripping up on my words. Fuck the Flat Earth. Hello to you. Nick. Good evening to you. Cigarwin. Hello to you. We've got Lewis, of course, is with us, and Heart on My Sleeves. Good evening to you. I'm getting there. Schrodinger's cat. Good to see you. Not Flat. Hello to you. Channel Q is with us. Hi Q. Even. Oh, I'm not doing well at this evening. Who have we got? Nick. Good evening to you. Jose. Good to see you. Check out Jose's channel, of course. Great debates on there every day. So, Jose JG Gonzalez, check him in the chat. Click on the 3 dots next to his name, go to his channel, subscribe. Right.
Hit the bell.
Oh, you're awake. It's good to see. Glad you made it back. We thought you'd maybe passed out.
I was passed out.
Asan Sal, good evening to you. Termin, hi to you. He says, both models? They are not flat Earth models. There are not flat Earth models. He's right there, and that's true. Sai, good evening to you. Psychics Warrior, even. Who knows what that's supposed to say. Charlie, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a week or two. Skywatcher, good evening. Sean G is with us. Good evening, Sean. Also does some good debates on his channel. Check his channel out. And I'm about halfway through. Normal Gamer, good evening to you. Twitwit, of course. The lovely Twitwit is with us. Good to see you. I'm going to say hello to Conspiracy Cats. Poor sod is on his way to work. He listens on a Monday morning. He's had 2 weeks off. And now he's got to go back to the screaming kid saying, Sir, is the Earth flat? And who else is here? Getting through it. We're a bit down on the audience today. Where are you all? Hang on. Oh, They Lie Ohio is with us. Good evening to you, They Lie. I'm near the bottom, guys. Hang in there. Flashburn 52, good evening. Where were you? You've been late. You must be late. And anyone else see any names that I haven't done?
Hannah Anderson. We got Hannah Anderson.
I can feel the impatience. It's driving you all nuts. Panicky, hello to you. Lone Hyena, good evening to you. Rob, hello to you. Hannah Anderson, did you just say Hannah? You did, didn't you? Stephen Curtis, hello to you. I think that's everyone. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Let's have another clip. This one is Owen Benjamin's at it again. And did you see this? Anyone see this? Well,
yes.
I just grabbed a little chunk of it. It's not long, so I just grabbed one single chunk of this.
Owen Benjamin is like when somebody says, "Hey, dark chocolate is really good," and you're like, "No, I don't like dark chocolate." And they say, "But have you tried this dark chocolate? It's really good." And then you try it, and it wasn't any good.
Yeah, he's no good, but it's like watching. I don't even like watching these, but it's like watching a train wreck. You know what I mean? It's like watching in slow motion, like. Yeah, and the whole process of it.
Have a butchers. Let's see how it goes. Where we go. It's not long, this one, I promise.
For me, ham radio seems very Sphere Earth, where you have different types. I wrote down some stuff. You got the ground waves, sky waves, direct waves, and a lot of them require bouncing off the ionosphere. And the thing, if you're one thing I think Flat Earth is lacking tremendously is a map, like a cohesive map that everyone kind of agrees on.
So is the globe.
Yeah, I mean the globe could be a full-blown lie. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that
it depends on which map you look at. The globe maps are all different. The continents are all different sizes. Iceland is so different. I think Google Earth and Google Maps uses two different globes.
You got to be better than those guys, though, if you want to change the hearts and minds. It's like, because if you're doing ham radio, the degrees will be off based on the current. But do you guys have like a current map, or are they all different?
Well, the map that I like to go by, and I don't think it's perfect, is the AEE map, which is that map right there. And I have an app. I don't know if you saw it, and where basically it shows the sun going around the Earth, and wherever the sun is, call somebody up there and ask them what time it is, and they'll say it's noon. Okay, so there's something right about this map, because the sun goes around every 24 hours, and wherever it is, it's noon.
Right. What about but with ham radio, you can go the short way. Like if you're in Sacramento and you're calling a fella in Florida, you can go the short way or the long way. And I think they've done experiments. And by the way, I'm not knocking you right now. It took me a long time to find things that seem pretty hard to disprove about certain Sphere stuff, where it's the right amount of time it takes for the light and the radio wave to go around the Earth the other direction as it would be that direction. Like you can go the short distance with ham radio versus the long distance.
Right.
Do you know about what that? Do you have an answer for that, or?
I do have some, and I've talked with people that are ham radio people. So supposedly on the ball, the Earth, the signal goes up, bounces off the ionosphere, then comes down, skims off the Earth, and then keeps ricocheting around. Okay, that's the story that we're told. Well, for one, when it hits the Earth, it would just soak into the Earth. The Earth would not reflect those radio beams. That's what I'm told. Makes sense to me. But switch it to a flat Earth. We still have whatever that ionosphere is, whether it's the dome, whether it's a charged layer, it could still be there, and you could ricochet off it. But on a flat Earth, you don't need to, because it's a straight shot. So depending on how much interference is there, the sun and the moon and the flat Earth are electric and magnetic in nature, for lack of better words. And they charge up the ionosphere, which inhibits the transmitting of waves somewhat. So there's certain times of day where ham radio works better. And I think it can go farther at night.
Yeah.
And it really makes more sense on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, on a clear, visible day, without too much electrical interference, you can, WNBC out of New York would go to Bermuda. And that doesn't make any sense on a ball Earth, unless you say that it's ricocheting up and down, which is complete nonsense. I've never believed that.
Yeah.
It makes this is one that I say goes into both baskets. Whatever we talk about, it could either go into that works on a flat Earth, only on a flat Earth, or that works only on a ball Earth, or hey, that works on both. Circumnavigation east and west works on both.
It does.
Circumnavigation south only works on a flat Earth.
Yep.
What you'll find out at the end of this conversation, absolutely nothing ends in that middle basket, which is the ball Earth only basket. Nothing falls into there.
Oh my god. First of all, like his app, yeah, it's right about like one thing. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Darth.
It's like a broken watch. It's right twice a day, you know.
He was so happy about that. Oh.
Well, theoretically, this is a 24-hour watch, so it would be right once.
But there's videos all over YouTube saying how it doesn't work. So how can he sit there saying that? I just say, and what's that about? Navigation, circumnavigation south doesn't work on a globe Earth. What? Where's? Yeah. And he goes, and Benjamin goes, yeah, right. You know.
Well, you've been in communities of mostly flat earthers, and one person will say that black is white, and the other person goes, yep, right, and then says his crazy thing, and the other person says, oh, yep, It just goes back and forth like that. This is no different.
Yeah, this is true. This is what they do in 24/7. They can say something blatantly crazy, but I think it's because there's globers in there, and I think because if they are to kind of correct them, then it's made to look like they're on the other side or something like that. But I've seen that go down way too much, and it's like dudes that I know the answer, but they kind of just keep quiet, even though someone's saying some crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah, Darth has like this reputation of being something of a maverick for the flat earthers, so correcting him would be more costly than correcting somebody who's just a nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't want that because he's a big part of their brand. He's a big part of their identity. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he got schooled by Logan Paul in the movie, didn't he? Like, what he was, I forgot what he said to him, but he was like asking about the coffee, or I don't know what he said. He asked him some dumbass questions, but it was just funny. That was like one of the only funny parts.
But I think to be fair to Owen Benjamin, and I know he has a fan or two in our chat, so I don't want to offend them, but he isn't saying he's a flat earther, and what he's saying a lot of is he's interested in the idea. And I think what interests him a lot is the way that people react to it. If you say you're a flat earther, or that, and we know about that. The sort of way people often get quite angry and are really foxed by it. I think.
Yeah. Like that lady from the Nathan debate.
Right. Quite. Yeah. Just don't know where to go with it, and resort to it. Insults and. Yeah, so I think he's interested in those aspects of it. I think probably quite a lot, and he likes to be the rebel, if you like, to hold the fringe view, the taboo view.
I think it's been long enough with him looking into this that I don't think he's ever going to become a flat earther, but I think it's going to be tough for him to give it up, because he has made an awful lot of money from it. I've watched maybe 3 or 4 hours of his live streams, and both times he had like 4,000 or 5,000 people watching, and it was like every minute somebody would donate like $15, $20, sometimes $100, and that happened like it's like
right. Although
he was making easily $1,000 a stream.
He's been demonetized though on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
People are basically posting him money from what I could gather. His bears, which is his fans, he calls his bears. So I don't know, but he also said that he was going to be leaving Flat Earth alone for a while. He just not going to talk about it for a bit. So, he's not really a flatty as such. But he doesn't just seem to believe everything they tell him, But then I don't know whether he does. I think sometimes he's just being polite, and he just You know, just
yeah.
he isn't there to argue it. You know,
I think he wants to know what they think. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's sort of in that position where he doesn't know for sure what's going on and how things work. So he's open to hearing their views, and he's not going to criticize it.
Cigarface said he made $75,000 a month from YouTube's.
Yeah, wow. I wouldn't doubt that at all, especially if he's streaming, you know, a few times a week.
Right, that's a fair bit of money.
Are his supporters bright enough to be able to mail him money without getting themselves arrested?
Well, I think so, because I mean they're not really, they're not flat earthers, and a lot of them I think aren't keen on the idea, and there's certainly, there's been a few times when, they're not keen on the flat earthers who have turned up and just come in his chat and go, the earth is flat, and they don't like all that, He was talking about a letter he'd had from one of his bears that said, look, Owen, the earth might be flat, but these flat earthers are wankers, I don't know. I've got another little clip, actually, that I kind of stumbled across right at the end. Unless anyone else has got anything more on that, of course. Sorry. Okay, I'll take that as a no. I'm going to show you this. This is... Now, let me see if I can... Hang on. I've probably not done this very well. Hang on, let me see if I can read it. Fucking hell. I've got... It's about the Bedford level. Let me... Oh, yeah, I can just about read this. It's me old eyes. 54-year-old eyes now. So, this is after the Bedford level. Anthony Riley, who was there, sent me a message, and he said this. He said, we can now prove that... In fact, I can stick it on the screen, actually. Which is my plan. There it is. There, he says, so, we can now prove that Hamden was right and Wallace was a charlatan. It isn't refraction that caused the optics illustrated in documentation. Dr. John Dee repeated the observation, but at night. If the surface of standing water does curve over 6 miles on the Bedford Level Canal, it would not be possible to see an LED laser from centimetres above the water if the surface was convex. This will need some explaining. At night, you don't get the temperature. How will this be explained? A few centimetres above the water level, 6 miles, lights both sides. Light can't refract both ways, perfectly matching flat. We have done it. It's over. It's over to you ballers to repeat what's been done. Validate the results and explain how the water isn't conveying again. Welcome to FE, Jeremy. We are your friends now. Okay, so it sounds like they did pretty well, right? Anyway, they stuck out this video, which is only a couple of minutes long. It's just a sort of an update on it, so check this out.
Okay.
The Bedford Level Revisited. Update, 13th of April 2019. First and foremost, my gratitude to all those who gave their time to take part in the observation, which was only possible thanks to the group effort and contribution made by each person. My sincere appreciation. Thank you for your patience. At the moment, footage is being gathered from the various people who attended. The footage will then be stored in a place so it can be observed by all. Initial findings. The weather was sunny throughout the day with a slight breeze. Due to the occurrence of refraction, inferior mirages at both Welney Gate and Salter's Lode were observed, which blocked line of sight, preventing the selected targets from being observed. To potentially eliminate refraction, the observation needs to be done in the winter after 3 or 4 days of low temperature. A winter observation is being planned. The footage leads to further understanding and a number of interesting points. A video will be forthcoming. A slight haze. Video taken of Welney Gate, Welney Bridge from Salter's Lode, distance 5.92 miles or 9.5 kilometers. That's Paul Darcy. He is actually in his dinghy in the middle of the river. Now that's interesting. Our first freshwater observation. Interesting video footage and photographs. Much to discuss, analyze, and learn. An experience to guide future observations. The Bedford level revisited. Number 2. A winter observation, late October. Who's coming?
Well, I would go to that if I could.
With that music, I think I'm watching a Pepperidge Farm commercial. I expect, you know,
Do you think Riley was exaggerating somewhat? They never even mentioned this nighttime observation, so I don't know what's happened to that.
Yeah. But why they think a winter observation is better, I'm really unclear on. But at any rate, I'm sure they'll keep doing it until they see what they think they want to see.
Right.
It's interesting. Oh
no, go ahead.
It's interesting that they think that the mirages and refraction were responsible for them not being able to see their destinations. I think that's a little bit presumptuous of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Of course,
I was
it is.
sending back Nick West's excellent rebuttal that was made in advance of the effort.
Yeah, that was the best thing. And I thought that set this one aside a little bit in that the debunk was actually produced before the thing itself. So obviously they're going to be able to see this laser. So the distance isn't that great, and the spread on the beam of the laser will be enormous. So.
And of course, the spread on an LED is much worse. So yes, absolutely.
Right. So it's just nonsense. But I just thought I'd throw that in because of Riley's. He told me this. Basically, I'm going to have to be a flat earther, and then all we've got is this crappy photo. That's pretty meaningless, really.
Quite an astonishingly bad photo.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say Ranty's better value for money if you're flat, you want to donate somewhere.
Well, the things that Riley said, where and when did they happen?
Well, it was at that observation. It was that. Presumably they did some stuff at night. And the last thing Riley had said to me on it, actually, was he came back to me, I don't know, it was this week, actually, earlier this week, and said that they hadn't produced anything on it because they were going to have to do it again because the nighttime observation they needed floodlights for. So,
why?
I don't. Apparently, you could. I think what he said was you could see the laser beam, but you couldn't see the boats. So you needed floodlights to be able to see the boats.
Not going to be able to see the floodlight either.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the idea of that was, but. It was something like that. But anyway, nothing more on the Bedford level till October, I fear.
Can't wait.
Shall we call it a night? Because it's been a long show. I don't know how I managed to find all that stuff.
You've got a party to get to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Happy birthday to me, by the way.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah. No, don't do that. No. The audience won't like
Actually, I think that's you. There's a copyright if you sing that on air.
That's true. Copyright.
Yeah, it belongs to Warner Brothers, I believe.
Yeah, it's $10,000 to play it.
Right, I'll round it out then. So, join us again soon for more fabulous flatness. In the meantime, if you see something that you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video. Or join our Discord server. The link is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Our Discord has over 1,400 members, and we managed to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome new members with opposing views, so click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel, and thanks to all of you for watching. We will be back around the same time, probably next week, but maybe not. So until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm nearly there, guys.
Yeah, that should hold the little fuckers.
Oh, God. Jeremy.
I think the original of that was That'll Hold the Little Bastards, and it was a kid's show. I'm pretty sure it's a legend about Soupy Sales, but I think it might be true. Where he thought he was off the air, and he said, there, that should hold the little bastard.
Man's getting
It was
rude.
still private.
I got there. And
I'm lucky to you, right? It could be a what's it?
Well, you're an old
Could be
man.
an onion ring, a hairless monkey, something through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped
So
what
we're
we
clear now?
found right now, we would be it'd be bad.
Oh, we're still on?
We're still on.
Oh, good. That means I can slip out a comment.